What's up, Netrunners? Welcome to The Art of Running, a show that's all about allowing you to take a peek inside the minds of experienced Netrunner players so that you can see how they play the game and why they make the decisions they make. And I'm extremely excited to have two excellent players here from the Atlanta area. We have Ahmed Abbasi and Pacer Stringfellow. Guys, welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks for letting us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Well, we have already recorded the game, and we're going to have these guys on to do commentary over the game so you can hear what they're thinking during that game. So, Ahmed, what deck do you have for us today?
Today I'm playing the Runner, and I'm going to be playing Stealth Kate, which is basically a stealth rig. I've got a Refractor for code gates, Dagger for sentries, and then Croter to supplement that. And then I've got HQI and RDI for multi-axis, and my econ package is mostly revolves around obviously short gambles, but also KD for the long game, and then Tech Rider to build on early, because Stealth 3 requires, as you'll see, a lot of installs, a lot of small, cheap installs, and those pack on the Tech Rider.
Awesome. And what is Ahmed going to be facing up against today?
I'm playing a HB Engineering the Future. More of like a Glacier build with some fast advance options. I'm playing 2 Global Food Initiatives, 3 Accelerated Beta Tests, 3 Project Vitruviuses, and 1 NAPD. And econ package is Breaker Bay with all the campaigns, and just a lot of taxing ice and some recursion.
All right, sounds like it's going to be a great game. Looking forward to it. So we've already recorded the game, so let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, so we are in game. Ahmed is on the left playing as Kate, and Pacer is on the right playing as HB Engineering the Future. So as you guys are shuffling up here, Ahmed, what do you typically look for in your opening hand with this Kate deck?
The thing I care about most is econ. If I have a hand that has like a sure gamble, I'm probably going to look to keep it, even if the rest is really bad, because it's really awkward as K to mulligan, especially with this deck, to mulligan into no econ. What's Refractor doing? Like you can mulligan into like RDI, what's it called? Quality time, and then 2 random other cards, and you can't do anything with that hand if you don't have an econ, right? If you play quality time turn 1, what are you gonna do? You can't play most of your other cards you draw, right? Even with the Kate discount.
Sure.
So I want to care about econ. It's a bonus if there's a Tech Rider in there. That's like one of the best cards I can get. And if there's an early Astrolabe, is always really good for the free draw.
All right. And how about on your side, Pacer? What are you looking for in your opening hand?
I love to see a Breaker Bay and an Eve with like an Eli or an Architect. Some early piece of ice that could shore up, one of the centrals or start a good remote.
So, Pacer, it looks like you got a couple ice and some Jacksons, and Ahmed looks like he got a decent econ, so you're both keeping.
Yeah.
And Pacer icing up R&D with an Architect, putting down a Jackson, and I think that's a Turing over that remote.
I kind of thought he might run it, so might as well.
Sure.
Make him waste a turn, but...
Mm-hmm.
I knew he probably wouldn't, but, figured might as well.
So how do you play this opening here, Ahmed?
Well, I want to use a Kate discount. I'm pretty greedy about that. Like when Travis, one of the players here, always makes fun of me for full value. And then I'm going to do something I rarely ever do. Like, I hate doing this. I'm going to click for a credit. That's why I always want early econ. I think that's one of the worst things you can do from a runner point is click for a credit. As a corp, you sometimes have to do it a lot. But as a runner, I hate doing it. But I do it so I can lay down 2 daily casts early, back to back.
Mm-hmm. So, Pacer, you're drawing up here with Jackson. Are you looking for something in particular? You take that Breaker Bay.
I think
and
I had
find Ash too.
Yeah, I think I had an Eve, and I wanted to find a Breaker Bay.
I see. Do you have the Ash in hand? I don't think you found an Eve quite yet, but you do have, I think you did get a couple Breaker Bays. So, looks like a pretty slow start. You haven't checked any of these ice yet, but you do draw that Refractor there, Ahmed. So, what are you drawing for here?
I'm drawing for basically the rest of the pieces of the stealth rig. Like, it's hard to run early because I have 1 cloak, so it's only 1 rung of ice I'm going to get through, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to risk running a remote. It could be a sentry, it could be architect, it could be EG. I don't want to click something early, waste time. And it's one of the bad things about the stealth rig. Sometimes you are not able to fully threaten early remotes, but you benefit from it in the late game where you can break ice for cheap.
All right, so you do find that Eve there, Pacer, and you lay it out naked, unprotected. What's the reasoning behind doing that?
If a runner runs it and wants to spend 5 credits or 7 credits to trash it, I think I'm okay with that.
Well, Ahmed is running it, and you go ahead and res it right away to get that Breaker Bay value. And Ahmed, you're deciding to trash it here. What's your thought behind why you did that?
Well, it's his first campaign. If you can get out early, it's harder for them to res their ice. I'm unable. Like, the bad thing is I was hoping it would be an Adonis, so I can trash that plus the Breaker Bay for 5 total, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is an Eve, and I wanted to start Katie, and so I couldn't trash it, the Breaker Bay. And this is like the most awkward thing that can happen. He archive memories it back, and so now I have to make a hard choice.
I wanted to pop my Jackson to clear that server out for the accelerated beta test.
Right,
so
I see that in hand for you.
So I just I'll throw this archive memories back and get some value out of it with the Jackson. And I thought, well, if he just spent 5 credits to trash it, maybe he'll do it again.
And you weren't very subtle about the way you archived it back and installed it, so you made it pretty clear that this is the Eve.
Yeah.
And now with your super drip with these daily casts, are you going to go back and take it again, Ahmed? Is it worth it?
I think it is, because that's what's happening. So it happens. I don't know, yeah, because like the drip, it feels like I remember thinking this, and like the next turn I'll think in my head, I was like, that drip is going to stop soon.
And
like,
then Pacer top decks another Eve.
It feels like almost infinite. Yeah, like if he doesn't top, I mean, it's possible he's going to get another campaign, but if he doesn't, I think it's a good play, because he hasn't established himself as a remote. Like, you can imagine ETF's ice, he's got like 11 some credits or something like that. He can't res that much ice. So I thought it was a decent play.
So in the meantime, Pacer puts down that Ash in the remote and shores up that remote with, I think, a second Turing.
Yeah.
Still the ABT in hand. I can't remember what the ice is over HQ. But
I think it's probably an Enigma.
Okay. Meanwhile, Ahmed is continuing to draw up with Diesel. And yeah, it looked like you almost overdrew, but you're able to mod it out that RDI, the RD interface, and get full value. And you see another Eve. Congratulations.
Were you happy to see that Eve?
No. Actually, even in this situation, since I have Katie, and Katie's getting pretty huge, I think in retrospect, it's actually appropriate to trash it again.
Do you trash a Breaker Bay the third time you go in there?
Hopefully.
Okay.
It's just the money issues. I think the last time I went in, I didn't have the money again. It's really awkward both times the access. I guess I could have delayed Katie a turn, but I really didn't want to. What's happening?
So popping Jackson looks like you are, and yeah, you only have 3 in archives. You can shuffle them all back in, and the accelerated beta test is going down. And I think that you put down the
other Jackson.
The other Jackson, and playing empty-handed now, which is not a big deal in that runner.
Yeah, I was being really greedy. Like, he's probably going to run and trash that Jackson. But it makes him use a click. He can't set up. And, you know, trying to dictate the tempo of the runner is what I'm trying to do. And if I can control, you know, if I can make them run when they don't really want to before they get set up, then, you know, it's better for me in the long run. At least I feel that way.
So, Ahmed, when you see someone voluntarily trash a Jackson like that and install something in that remote instead, are you immediately thinking this probably an agenda?
Yeah, like I had to play. You see, like my first action is do Astrolabe for the discount, and I actually was going to. Like my initial instinct was second click, lay down SMC, lay down Ghost Runner, and run.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was really concerned about like accessing, going all the way down that server and not getting anything. It might be another campaign, and the money that would cost to build a rig at this point, may I run the server and can't even trash what's down there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or it could just be a Caprice protecting, like nothing. It could just be a Caprice with an Ash and a Breaker Bay, you know? Yep. It may not actually be an agenda. So I didn't feel it was worthwhile. I was wrong. But I remember even before he scored this, I remember thinking, I was like, why didn't I check the outermost remote to stop this, a free ABT trigger, which is really bad. Yeah. Like he can trigger it for free because obviously it's going to be a Jackson in that in the new remote, which is really awful. Like those two ices.
It turns out really well, too.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice hit on the ABT.
I should have put the itchy in front of Eli, but I was just kind of stunned that he didn't, you know, run and trash that Jackson. That I just kind of just put him out there.
Yeah, it's kind of like this is like you can see even my posture. It's like a very hard hit, letting this happen. Because easily as a runner you could have stopped this. I should have checked that outer remote because I was thinking that he could do this type of play with the the Jackson ABT trigger. And so I just take money. I'm hanging out. And now, like, I should trash the Eve. Not this turn. Obviously, now it's almost finished. It's not worth it now. But I have a lot of money. That Eve should not be hanging out.
This is a little greedy here. And, you know, I thought he might let it go if he didn't have an SMC in hand. But then I thought even if he does let it go, Katie quits building up. And I can start trying to drain him of credits and trying to open up another scoring window.
Right, so jamming in that Global Food Initiative, going for the score, but it does have the SMC in hand. He empties Katie, And then we just got Turing, I believe. So the first Turing is going to be taken care of with the Refractor and the Cloak, and then Ghost Runner is going to take care of the second one. How do you... So on the corpse side against the stealth deck, do you try as hard as you can usually to burn through a Ghost Runner?
Yes, I'm happy with they burn all their Ghost Runner credits.
Mm-hmm. So we do have this Ash, and Ahmed has $1 million. So there's not really any trace you're going to be able to put it at. So I suppose you just leave it at 4 here.
Yeah, I know I couldn't keep him out, so I might as well just make him spend as much money as possible. And
so Ahmed pays through the trace and trashes Ash.
Yeah.
And accesses that food, getting 2 points.
When I scored this, basically made a joke like aggressive tech secretary, and I was like, no, it's not possible. Because that'd be awkward as hell.
And here we're just making sure we weren't paying attention close enough to see if you had trashed the Ash. But indeed, you did pay to trash the Ash.
A lot of times, like even both sides, sometimes you do something really fast, and I can't even remember if I did it or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like
I'm mad.
I know in my head I want to do it, but I don't know if I did. And so this is what we're talking about right now. Did I actually? And I don't know how many credits I have. As a corp, I almost know exactly how much credits I have most of the time. As a runner, I know whether I have a lot of credits or not so much. It's in between. Like so people ask me all the time how many credits do you have, and I'm the runner. I'm like, I don't know. It's just it's a pile. But here for camera's sake, we're like rearranging so like they're 5s and such, you know. And it's more.
Which I appreciate.
Obvious.
I'm a big proponent of making sure that you maintain a clean board state.
Yeah, and I'm trashing the Breaker Bay as well because I'm still in the server. I haven't left yet.
I think you should left Breaker Bay.
I'm so bad at this game.
I think.
And here, I think last click I quality time, which is kind of a mistake.
I think you thought you had one more click left.
Or I think no, you do have one more click.
No, I ran on my third click.
Right, you ran a third click.
And
so
I thought like I wouldn't have to. I miscounted how many I would draw because I knew I was going to toss the Katie. I just wanted. I had nothing else to do on this turn, right? And then so what's it called? I'm going to toss something, and I don't want to toss the quality time because there's a lot of my rig that's missing, and I really want to like quality time, get a tech writer, build. And so I ended up tossing a mem chip, which is okay. But it's really probably not the best thing because then I only have one more mem chip in my deck that I can have the full rig out. 3 breakers, 3 cloaks.
Sure.
But I'm willing to toss it this early.
So Pacer, you decided to take your turn to Jackson up and shore up that remote with a non-code gate. So what is your thought now going forward with that remote server a little bit less protected?
Kind of just want it to be as expensive as possible. And I think I'm just going to try to wait for a Caprice or another Ash and try to, maybe wait for him to make a run on R&D and see how much money he goes down to see if I can then try to score out of it on the next turn. I think I put a Vikram there.
Yeah, there was a Vikram 1.0. Look, there was going there.
Yeah. So the course of the actions there I feel is really important. So when I start my turn with 5 cards, I'm usually not going to quality time unless I have a modded to reduce that hand size, right? Because then you can't play all your cards if you quality time click 1, right? So I drew, and I was going to short gamble, but then I wouldn't get the Kate discount. So then I put Tech Rider, Kate discount, and install a card, hit Katie.
Okay.
So I feel like I always try to make sure I get my Kate discount every turn. And, Katie, if it's going to, work for you, you want to, even though it's sometimes a time sink, you want to make sure you are using it appropriately, like every turn if possible. So that's why I didn't short gamble. And so Pacer puts stuff in the remote. I try to run at it.
So do you think that you might be trying to bluff an agenda here, or do you want to just deny more asset economy?
Either way, I think it's a good idea to run it because the server is not that bad for me because I have a lockpick and a cloak.
Mm-hmm.
So the 2 Turings are not an issue, and I'm going to probably have to waste 1 Ghost Runner if it's something different, right?
Right.
And I think I have a Ghost Runner in hand, so I'm not concerned about burning a Ghost Runner credit right now. What I really need is like a clone chip so I can clone chip back in the SMCs and start making more cloaks and hitting Tech Rider multiple times in a turn. But so it happens. I think I just break the server. I have to use 1 Ghost Runner credit. Axis and Eve. It's awkward.
I think you're at 7 at this point.
Yeah, and then there's only 3 on Katie right now, so you can't trash this. So that's okay.
Well, at least there's not the Breaker Bay that you would have left there, so he has to list it for full cost.
Yeah.
So it was good to trash the Breaker Bay there.
Yeah. This whole game, like even rewatching this, I'm really feeling bad about that Eve that I let live. That's like 16 credits. It's a lot.
17 if you count the install.
Yeah, that's true. It's a lot of money. Like you have to trash like it feels like you can't. And I tried early, and I trashed 10 worth of stuff, and then you kind of feel like they'll always have money. But that's like one of the things that ETF does to you. It's a very psychological thing. They make you feel like you can't stop this, right? This money advantage. But you can slow it down enough that they can't res their ice, because a lot of their ice costs 5, 6, 4 credits. They can't do all of it if you don't let them. I think, with Katie that early, I did have the option to do it more often. I love Astrolim. Draw the card.
And you're archiving back. Ooh, so you're getting back the Breaker Bay, so you're going to be able to res that Eve.
Yeah, and that thing's going to trickle for full value. I'm not going to run that server again. So that's just going to happen. So here now is a good time to quality time. I start with a pretty low hand size, so I can draw a lot of cards. And I draw a lot of card draw and more SMC stuff. The really sad thing is that this Tech Rider came really late. Like, I run 3 of just so I can get it early, just like you would run 3 Procos if you're going to do Proco, because you want it as early as possible. And it can be like a ridiculous card. Like, sometimes I've clicked Tech Rider for like 16 credits, like more than 10. It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's worthwhile. But sometimes you just get it late and it's not as efficient. That's why I run Katie as well, because Katie is good regardless of when you get it.
Seeing yet another Eve.
On the Corp side, sometimes I think it's worth it to maybe be a little bit aggressive with an agenda, hoping that they'll pop a Tech Rider early than they want to, because it's just like he's right. It just sits there and collects a ton of money. The quicker you make them pop it, the better it is for the Corp.
Yeah.
It's almost like turning the Kate discount into
Another credit.
A bonus of a credit.
And it also makes you feel okay. Like, sometimes you'll quality time, and like, used to be when I used to play prepaid Kate, I would never try to install more than 1 card a turn. But here you don't feel as bad, especially if like 2 Tech Riders. You're like, yeah, fine, I'll lay down a lock plate. I'll also lay down a clone chip, right? Because I'm getting like maybe 2 credits off that. Like, they're being stored, and you feel okay installing more than 1 thing a turn. Right now I just have 1 Tech credit. And there's 3 Eves running. This is insane. So now, like, it's an impossibility. Like obviously the Corp Pacer did a good job getting to this point where I can't trash these things, but like maybe in the scenario where I maybe played a little bit smarter and got rid of the Breaker Bay earlier and not, made sure I kept Katie earlier, it would have been better.
In hindsight, what I think you should have done, instead of trashing that...
well, sorry to interrupt real quick. It looks like, so you just top-decked a Vitruvius, and you have the Biotic in hand, and you checked out his heap. And it looks like you're thinking of doing a Biotic Labor here?
Yeah, I have another Jackson in hand that I could overwrite with it, and he's gone through about half his deck. There's a possibility he could have it in his hand.
And he also let me draw a card, so I could have topped. When he played Biotic, I was like, he wanted me to top I could have topped Clot off the top of my deck, and then there'd been a possibility. And so now, like, we're going through the window after I'm letting him advance twice fully,
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want to try this, try it all out. And then I go get Clot, which luckily I have. It's awesome. It's got some Tech Rider.
But now that's an cloak you can't go get with that.
Yeah. So yeah, it burns an SMC. I think I have 1 clone chip on the board. Now, this is very interesting. So his last click, he overwrites it. Most people, like more than 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to go check it. But I feel like Pacer could like overwrite with another agenda. And like, because sometimes the runner won't check it. They'll be like, yeah, they trashed, they're advancing, whatever they were trying to do, right? And I really felt like it was a waste of a click to check. And I think most of the time it is, but I can't help myself. Like, what if he is doing this,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to risk that score. Especially because there's a Jackson on the board. I don't know why I never run Jackson. It's one of my biggest faults, I think, as a runner. I let Jackson hang out for years.
You feel it's like a wasted click. Unless you can dirty laundry into archives to get value off of it, you just let it sit there.
So now I'm debating. Like, it's a big deal for me, this click. Especially because I have 6 cards in my hand. He made me overdraw, and I don't want to diesel and then not play out effectively. And so, what is Pacer going to do with it? He pops? Yeah, I think
he's just letting
he's let me see it.
Right.
I'm not going to trash it because there's another one, right?
Right. He can't res and use that Jackson because there's already another one res. So if he wanted to use the Jackson, he had to use the first one first.
Yeah, this is, I think my second turn, I'm going to click for a credit as sure gamble. I hate my life. It's really one of the things I think is really, like, you try to move away from. Like, sometimes I see some runners do this a lot, and like, it's you have to make a lot of conscious decisions on how you play to make sure you don't run that situation. Because especially as a runner, you have money sources. You should have money sources, I should say. That it doesn't come to that.
Looks like that EU finally ticked down.
Eve is so good. It's not going to trash though. That's how good that card is. It's just going to hang out.
I was waiting for you to trash it.
Oh, wow. It burns. It burns. That's good.
So at this point, so the biotic failed, unfortunately. And there goes the EU finally. So you don't have any agendas currently in sight. So you're just going to build, or?
Yeah, I don't have a caprice. The problem is HQ is kind of vulnerable, so I'm hesitant to draw up with Jackson and be stuffed with a bunch of agendas. But I'm like, well, might as well. I have to get something going.
Mm-hmm. So you do find a Turing and an Adonis campaign.
Yeah.
And that Breaker Bay is open, so why not? Makes sense.
I wonder if I check this as well, because this is another thing. Like, I'm always worried about Pacer. Like, he could install on top of the Breaker Bay, it'd be an agenda, and be like, sneak one out. I'm really always cautious about this. And often, sometimes I don't check. Sometimes I do. I don't remember what I do here about it.
Since Ahmed's letting me have all this free money, I decided to really just build 4 and 5 deep servers with ice.
We got here Diesel, and I get the mem chip, which is really good right now. Because Claude is taking up a slot in my memory.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna install.
Yeah, so now you can freely clone chip that self-modifying code into the ARPAT 6 memory.
Yeah, I think it's something I would do at the end of. I don't know if I'm gonna do it, but right now, looking at the board state, this is a decent. I go check this, obviously. I should trash, but I'm not going to. No, he's at 18.
Yeah, it looks like.
And I don't have enough money. I don't have the money to do this.
So, gonna res it. Why not? Free money, 3 free credits.
How much is this drip? So that's 2 of both of those. That's what, 7 a turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh god, it's brutal.
You can just trash it.
I could. Yeah, that's what DTF does. They win this game against you. And
You have
they're
Katie going. It's fair.
Yeah, like
I had Tech Rider is getting pumped.
It was 1 tech writer.
Well, it's still a big Tech Rider.
Yeah, if it was more, I think I would have been in a better situation to trash early. Like getting that in your opening hand is just bonkers good.
So I realize that Turing, all it does is tax him a stealth credit. So as long as he has plenty of stealth, the Turing really doesn't do anything.
So yeah, I'm doing. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so I'm doing this thing where I try to hit tech writer twice a turn by clone chipping in the SMC at the end of my turn. Now it's his turn. I'm going to pop it at the end of his turn to make it into a cloak.
Are you worried about getting out your corroder, though?
No, because the way I see it is I'm going to click Eli
Okay.
as soon as I get another RDI to run this server.
Mm-hmm.
And if that top thing is an Eli, I'll face check it. Okay, it's an Eli, whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll go get corroder. But at this point, I'd rather build for money and have cloaks for the sentries and the code gates as a server.
This is a server.
Yeah, you know, if you don't let them have Eve, they can't do this. But this is the world we live in.
Welcome to ETF with money.
I think I was really able to do that because of that Adonis campaign. Just that extra little bit there really gave me the money to do that.
And now, I think I'm debating, because if this has happened, I'm debating whether this needs to be a corroder now, because now there's definitely probably more than one Eli, and maybe I'm considering if I go against HQ, like what kind of situation, like the credits. So let's see what I pop this into. I think I do get corroder. Seems like the safe play. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, you have plenty of stealth credits right now. You've got the 2 Ghost Runners, so that's 4 plus the lockpick.
Also, the deck is really small, and I still have 1 more Diesel in my hand,
Mm-hmm.
so I can easily go Diesel, get a cloak, install the cloak.
Sure.
Because really, that's what my full rig is going to be now. It's not going to be what's it called? Oh, there we go. See how awesome that is. It's not going to be the last cloak. The clot is going to stay there because there's no CVS on the board that I can see, right? So it eliminates the biotic for now.
Sure.
So I don't have to worry about that because he has the money. He could biotic out anytime he wants. So now we're doing what? Gonna take some money, check R&D. Seems fun.
Yeah, looks like you hard installed that R&D interface, no modded for this one, but
Yeah, and this is the worst thing in the world.
double Eli.
Yeah, I might even bounce here, I
I
think.
think you do.
Because it's just like, it's an insane amount of money. It's going to be 4, and then 3. The great thing about the stealth rig is you don't pay for pumping, you pay for subroutines, except for barriers, obviously. But you just pay for, so we're going all in. So there's 8, we toss that, we're going to pump, break some subroutines on Eli, and then we're going to run to some architect action, as I remember, yeah. So, it's cool. So then we have to burn 1 Ghost Runner, so that Ghost Runner dies. I have the last one in my hand, so that's decent. Then we access with just 2 credits live, and then I remember this situation. Yeah, I'm gonna take this NAPD. It could burn me like crazy, and I have to waste 2 Ghost Runner credits, but it's okay because I have the 3rd one in my hand, and then then we hit another agenda. It's a great RD run.
It's a great R&D run, but now that decimated your Ghost Runner. But you are
Yeah.
at 6.
But so like Tech Rider's got like 10 on him,
Mhm.
and obviously Katie's broke. So that's why Tech Rider is so great. If there was another one, like it'd be in such a good situation where I could just go click for 20, 2 clicks for 20. If they both had like 10ish on them. So like Tech Rider is a great late game. Like I'll see a lot of people sometimes click it off for like 5 or 6, and I will like, sometimes put myself in quote unquote like bad situations not to do that, because in the late game it can be such an asset.
Well, that was a pretty big blow.
Yeah.
Being up now 6-2, and Pacers just putting up an upgrade there on R&D to deter any more runs. I can't remember what that upgrade was. I didn't see out of hand.
Yeah. And then he trashes this Eve early, right? Is that what just happened? Or
I trashed the Eve early.
He was, I think, jamming in the accelerated beta test. Like, I mean, I think now that the Ghost Runner is down to 1, that's probably a decent idea because he only has 2 ways to pump the dagger.
Yeah. And there's only one lockpick yet.
Right.
So like I don't have the stealth credits to run this server right now. And so I know he knows that. And so I'm debating how hard I'm going to try, because I can go Ghost Runner, take the Tech Rider, and run, and probably get in. But then I'll break myself doing it. Like I'll go broke. Right now I'm broke, right? And I'll go back to the situation. I have 0 credits. My only credit is on the Ghost Runner and Tech Riders. So this is I'm debating whether this is worth the run. Because it's a great move. Like it could just be another campaign. He just wants me to run the server again, break myself again, And this is like a very hard decision. It's a great play, like to put the runner in. Like he can make a great choice here.
Maybe I'm so greedy that Eve was not tricking down 2 credits is not enough for me. That I want another Adonis there. I mean, it's possible.
I think it's more about like the bluff of run or not run.
Oh,
It's a great decision to put the runner into.
I mean, it's really tough, I think, on the corp side to voluntarily trash a drip to fake out a runner and put it by putting in another drip.
Yeah.
Because you just would rather have the money.
So I'm gonna go for free, get another cloak, kill the Tech Rider, and I was counting my deck before to see like if I run this server and it's end up being nothing. Like what if it's just like a pure trap, right? How would I recover, right? I don't have any huge econ boost anymore. So there's the Tech Rider is gonna come off. That's my second click. First click was the cloak. It's good. It's like a free credit and a credit on the Tech Rider. It's huge.
Now you do have a Ghost Runner in hand. Are you going to drop that before the run?
Yeah, you'd have to. There's no way you run without it.
Do you just lucky find here and build back up?
It's an option. You'd click Katie though, and not lucky find. Probably click Katie, put the Ghost Runner down.
Okay.
But I took the Tech
Holding
Rider.
Holding the Ghost Runner is pretty.
It's good because then it plays the game in your mind. It's like, oh, he doesn't have it, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't. That's the reason you installed it. You think I can't get in, and as the board state is, I can't. Even right now, I think there's 5 rungs of ice, and there's only still right now 4 stealth credits on the board, right? Even with the cloak install.
There's a lot of math involved with stealth rigs.
Yeah, and so I'm even asking him how many cards he has. I haven't drawn my HQI. I think there's like only like 7, 8 cards left in my deck. And I'm a greedy player as well. Like I don't run HQ aggressively. I will just to make them res the ice, but now it doesn't matter. He'll res because he's got money.
Right.
I don't run HQ aggressively without the HQI too often. I only have 1 because the influence is tight.
Looks like Pacer's on 24 credits, so he can res whatever he wants at this point.
That could be a Janus and a Heimdall.
Like, is this a nerve wrecker decision for me? It's been a couple of minutes. I'm still thinking about what is the right choice here. And I have the Ghost Runner ready to play, make a run.
I guess sometimes when I'm in these situations, I look at it and I think, if I let him have it, then he scores an agenda and the game keeps going. If I go for it and it's not an agenda,
I
cripple.
I cripple and lose because I will burn a lot of stuff to get there. The other thing I don't want to be is another ABT because, like the idiot I am, that Jackson is still hanging out.
And the other Jackson too.
And the other one. All right, the face down one is also Jackson. That's true.
It's true, double Jackson.
God, how long have I been thinking about this?
This is a tough.
Well,
decision.
it's basically in my mind, it's the game here, because I've run into a situation where there's only so many runs I can do now. It's really the money swing. Like, it's hard for me to build the money, because also if I do this and run, I'm not going to click Katie this turn, because I've already done 2 clicks, cloak, take Tech Rider. I can't install Ghost Runner and run, and I don't have another click to hit Katie.
I mean, if you weren't already planning on running, would you even bother installing Cloak and taking Tech Rider, or would you just let? I mean, it feels like you've already kind of committed.
I have. No, yeah, I'll actually do this. Like, I'll make half the actions and then maybe change my mind part way. Because also taking Tech Rider is okay. There's not many other cards I'm going to install. The only 2 other cards I'll probably ever install again are an RDI or the Silencer, or actually the last Cloak, right, to override the.
And I think what you're doing there is you're checking to see how many econ assets are in the trash.
Yeah, like, so yeah.
See, is this actually an agenda?
I'm doing percentages, which are irrelevant, really. It's just really about playing the person,
You give me way too much credit.
It could be a bluff. Like, it is. Like, this is like, and I commit myself, I'm going to try this. Like, I feel like, because I know, like, this is actually what the corp would do. Like, the runner can't get in. They either have to have it in hand or they don't, right? Because I have to do a lot of things to get in. I have to find a Ghost Runner. I have to take my Tech Rider and run the server. Like, I have to commit myself fully to this. And so it's Vikram. And so I see this server layout, and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to burn all my Ghost Runner credits except 2 to do this. And so what I end up doing instead is I think about the math, and what's unfortunate is, like, the runs happen. I'm not going to hit Katie. And I think about what you said earlier. He scores, I don't lose. It's just, it's a setback, but it's an appropriate, it's not that bad.
Sure. And you did at least make him spend money raising that Vikram.
The money's irrelevant. Like, he's got $1 billion.
Money's never irrelevant. As a corp, I've been at 30 credits and then, like,
no. But, like,
3
in my
turns
head.
later, I'm broke.
And so, like, I decide, whatever, I can break this for free with all the stealthies that are going on in 1 real credit, so I'll just do that.
Sure.
And I won't risk it. And then, obviously, it's going to hurt pretty hard
right
when this happens. Because I could have got in. Access with, like, 0. Like, I hit the table.
There it was. So you could have gotten in there, but you decided to take the strategic risk.
Yeah.
And getting 2 more free ice.
Oh, it's so awkward.
And putting the Ichi on the outside of this remote. And then Architect.
Yeah,
Jeez, that is a remote.
That's a lot of free ice. And the monies.
I think it's just 4 pieces of free ice.
That's a lot.
And I drew a CVS.
I mean, it's
really
that's 4 free installs, and then the number of credits is like 18 there. That's a huge amount of money.
I mean, it's two Ichis, an Architect, and an Eli. That's 17 free credits.
Oh yeah, 17.
Are you including the position?
Yeah, not including the position. I'm saying, like, the credit to the action and then position. Oh my god, it already feels bad enough when ETF installs their second rung of ice and they're like, oh, this breaks even. I'm like, it's so cheap. Stop it.
Yeah, getting that in free install cost with that big of a server is a big deal as well, yeah.
So like, when I was joking about, like, you should have just ran it. I was like, I could have. I just... Yeah,
so...
he's talking about why he felt it was a safe play.
Right. So you had plenty of stealth, but as we talked about it, and if it wasn't an agenda, then you would have just lost.
Yeah.
So how do you recover at this point? What are you doing? Are you just waiting for agendas to come into HQ? You're running HQ here.
Yeah, I'm running HQ mostly to see, like, he could have had an agenda that he can score, like a food could be sitting in his hand, or he could have topped an agenda when he drew. On the last turn, right? Mm-hmm. It always happens. Sometimes you let them score, and I don't know what I did with the rest of that turn, but it's a lot of times the corp can't control it, right? Mm-hmm. Them having just agendas in hand. That he can't stop the mandatory draw when they score. Now I'm thinking, like, probably I think there's an Ash on that R&D server. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking about, like, how am I going to have enough money to actually access R&D? Because if he ever draws an agenda, he can just throw it in that server. And he probably won't until he gets another Ash or a Caprice to go with it. And I'm really fortunate that Caprice hasn't happened yet. Because that server can only be run once. Mm-hmm. If I lose a side game, it can't happen again.
And an upgrade in archive memories for Vitruvius that got dumped in there, I think, from the Etc. beta test fire. And get to jam that in to that remote. And that was a face down for you, so you didn't realize I was there. So can you get in at this point? I mean, if you feel like... you don't know what the upgrade is, and we saw that it's actually a Cyberdex virus suite.
Yeah, so it could be a Caprice, which is one of the best bind games that can happen. That's probably what I think it is. Actually, I know that's what I thought it was. and I don't want to do that. I don't want to run that server.
Yeah, it's if you get in there and you have to just play a side game. Oh, I think instead of so Pacer's actually instead of installing the upgrade, he's deciding to install the Victor 2 from hand. I think is what was the decision.
Yeah, I got scared.
Mm-hmm. Because it was a bluff. You weren't in case he called your bluff and went for the run, then it would be a pretty bad situation.
So Jenna's in hand right now?
I believe so, yes.
Where's HQI? I'm too greedy. I'm the greediest player.
I can't remember what I did here. I can't remember. Did I pick the CVS back up? I might have kept the CVS in hand. Actually, I did. I picked the CVS back up.
Right.
I put the agenda there. I made sure you knew which one I installed. Because I said I installed, the one that I grabbed from archives.
Yeah.
It's here.
So that makes me think that what's in archives. I mean, what it was is probably a Caprice or an Ash that he hit with his beta test. And so now for the first time ever, I'm making him shuffle agendas back in.
Which is good if you're going to make use of those R&D interfaces.
Yeah.
So by running archives, does that mean for you that you're going to start focusing on R&D now?
Yeah. I'm thinking about doing it like next turn when I have a little bit more money, so I'm trying to get the agendas in there.
So it looks like you're debating between whether archived memories or Ash. What's your thought process behind those two, Pacer?
I almost take the Ash, as you can see. But then I was like, no, the archived memories is more outsticking than Ash. This deck is only playing 2 Ashes, which is a mistake. I should play 3. I just could not find room for the third one and try the other stuff I wanted to try. But it needs 3 Ash and 1 Caprice. It needs 2 Caprices, but for some reason you just can't play that now.
Yeah, it's pretty tough with the influence restrictions.
So I felt okay at this point in the game because I knew I was going to score here, and
we do see that CVS in hand, so you did pick that up. So scoring out, now you're up at 6, so it's a tie game, and you managed to bring it back.
But now R&D, I mean, he can get through.
Sure.
Yeah. And, I mean, there's an argument that maybe I was too passive there. Maybe I tried for that remote. I don't know. I don't know. I got into like a kind of situation where I felt like I was up. I could let a few things go wrong. But now I'm in like in a win or lose situation here. Like it's getting pretty bad.
Sure. And at this point, if he top decks an agenda and jams it,
rough.
I mean, you've got a chance, and you don't know what kind of upgrades he's got.
Yeah, so I'm just checking HQ.
Going for the easy win.
Seeing if he's topped another agenda that he can't score out. I'm going to load some KD. Probably should install RDI here for the discount. Do it.
Or a cloak. I think stealth credits are very
Cloak's
relevant.
good, but I see the biotic in hand.
True.
I can't.
Yeah,
I don't want to
cloak.
overwrite my memory because there's no clone chip, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no clone chip, yeah. Cloud has to stay.
So we've seen 3 accelerated beta tests and 1 Vitruvius, and I think 1 got shuffled back in. So we do see now the CVS, Cyberdex Virus Suite, going into that Breaker Bay server. Now, is that an upgrade, or is it an agenda?
Yeah, I hate my life. As a runner, I got to think about this.
It's a tough game.
How many credits does Pacer have?
300.
300?
How about 20?
I think it looks like, about 20.
Yeah, if you trash 1 Eve, think about that. That was 16 credits. 20 minus 16.
Yep.
He's only got 4.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
You did trash 2 Eves.
I know, I'm saying another one. One more.
You trashed that Adonis there that you should have trashed. 3 credits. 3 credits.
Yeah, I don't know why I did. I don't know. Like, there's some hard choices to make. Usually it's right to trash. We just feel like I can't. I need money to make my rig.
Mm-hmm.
What am I doing?
So Pacer installed into the Breaker Bay, installed over R&D and took a credit.
Yeah.
And so now at this point, you don't think that you can get into that remote. For all you know, it's just that upgrade that he took back before. So I guess you're looking at R&D this turn.
Yeah, it seems like, especially with 3 RDIs, like you feel confident. Like I got a hit. Why not? First time worked out so well.
You're looking at 4 cards. Only have like.
Yeah, like as the deck
7
gets smaller,
cards.
It gets better and better. And also like, I've taken 1 APD, and I feel like maybe I can get there and go, with broke, and it'd be okay. Like a glory run. Glory runs always get there.
Because you can count the influence. You can count a lot of the influence right now.
Yeah. You assume a Caprice. Even though I haven't seen one, you always assume one or two sometimes in ETF. But those Elis are eating influence. Architect's eating influence.
So you take Katie and make a run, and we've got an Ichi here.
Yeah, because I'm probably going to click one of the Elis.
So let's do the math here. You've got some number of credits.
Yeah, I couldn't install my silencer because I wanted Katie.
And you wanted the clicks for the Eli.
Yeah, I need the clicks for the Eli. So what is this? It's just basically counting subroutines because I have Ghost Runner credits to pump. So it's 3, then 2 is 5. We're not going to break boats. That's 9, 12, 14 credits to get in and 2 clicks. Plus all the pumps.
And you do have enough pumps. You've got 2 cloaks and a lockpick. Lockpick's irrelevant here.
Lockpicks, yeah. So it's going to cost Ghost Runners.
Right, which is disappointing.
So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of stealth, right?
Yeah.
You need 4 stealth
Because
credits.
it's 4 sentries.
So with the 2 Ghost Runners, you can do this run twice.
Well, if you need 4...
Yeah, because it's 2 cloaks.
2 cloaks.
And then 2 Ghost Runners.
4, but it's only 4 credits on the Ghost Runners.
Yeah, so you could do it once and burn 2 Ghost Runners. Do it again, burn the last 2 Ghost Runners.
You mean 2 different turns. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You can do it twice.
Sure. So you have 2 more runs on R&D
yeah.
total.
And if you install the cloak and the silencer, you can do it as many times as you want.
So for this Ichi, you're going to go ahead and use a cloak. And
Did you break all 3?
Yeah, I did. No one gets why his Pacers asking that. They haven't seen it happen.
I know
There was a previous game before this game where I didn't break all the
Actually, I
17s.
don't think you did. Your Pacers thinking about how he's going to pump. If he's going to pump the trace.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I think you only broke the trash program.
Well, you couldn't afford to break all 3.
Oh, yeah. So I've done the math on this run. Like, I think I've thought about it for a couple turns that if that's an Ash, I have exactly enough. If this is the run where I'm thinking of, I have exactly enough to get in there and beat an Ash trace and go totally broke.
Okay.
So I think this is what I'm planning on, and he's
Right.
counting the money as well. And I think I miscount the fact that I had to let the bottom subroutine on Architect or Ichi fire, and I don't want the tag one to fire and the brain damage because then he'll trash my Ghost Runners.
True.
I think this is the situation. Pretty sure.
So I think, let's see. So Pacers doing the math.
I'm hoping I'm doing it correctly. Like, I might be misdoing it.
And Pacer has at this point, you're paying 1 to the trace. So you're gonna either force Ahmed to take the brain and tag, or pay 1.
So I do take the brain and tag.
Okay. Yeah. And it's a clone chip, which is probably not super relevant at this point.
It's the worst thing in the world. No, clone chip's huge because clone chip.
It's true because you can let an Ichi fire.
You could crash into the last Ichi and clone chip in Architect. I mean, clone chip back in the cloak and save money.
Yeah, that's true.
And just go there.
So paying another cloak and 2 for the Architect. So at this point, are you wondering whether you want to keep on going?
No, you gotta keep going.
You gotta keep
Why do you
going.
quit?
You gotta commit.
Why do you quit? Why am I trying? This is like you either win here, or you never win.
All right, so it'll cost 4
credits.
So 4 for 1 Eli.
I clicked the first one. Now we're at the next Ichi.
Mm-hmm.
This one I use a Ghost Runner to pump.
Mm-hmm.
Break.
And so you left with 10, plus your 1 link, and if that's an Ash, then he has to pay 2 to res, so he'll be at 8, and it'll be a trace 4, which will be exactly, well, you have to still break the Architect.
So okay, then I broke that one fully.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening? Why am I counting the Ghost
Oh,
Runner?
I think you might. Are you breaking one with Ghost Runner?
I think you have to.
Yeah, I have to use a Ghost Runner card to start.
Sure, but for breaking one of the Architect subroutines.
He thought about it, but if you break the Architect subroutine, you can't beat the Ash trace.
Yeah.
Right. So you've got to let one of them fire.
Yeah, right. I mean, you could jack out. Like, you could back up to this.
So much math with stealth.
Oh, I was giving you the option to.
Oh, right. Because you weren't sure if you're going to be able to make it in, so Pacer is mentioning here. If you want to take it back, you can. But I think you're pretty committed at this point. You think you can make it in.
I mean, I don't want him to lose because of
So
Yeah, because I actually did the math. That's what we're talking about. I did the math wrong, where now I can't break both architect subroutines because if it's an ash, then I can't afford the trace. So I either
right. So I think you probably let the third subroutine of the third subroutine of the second Ichi also fire, because I think right now you broke all through.
He did. I didn't pump it.
Yeah, that's the Ichi.
Oh, you didn't pump
that's
it.
Where
Oh,
the
that's
brain,
what it was.
that's where
So
the
you
brain
only
damage
paid
came
one.
from,
Okay,
not from the
gotcha.
first. The brain damage came from the second Ichi.
Okay. So right, he didn't pump it, and you're able to get through with your link. So that's why. So we're at the architect.
Yeah.
And I think you're deciding which subroutine you would rather have fire.
What's the worst that happens from archives?
So if there is an ash in there, but we're operating on the assumption that upgrade is an ash.
So that's what I double checked. I was like, you can't have two ashes.
Yeah, you asked me. That's right.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I can't have two ashes, because even if they two exist there, you can't res them both.
Right.
Because it says when the run is successful.
When you access cards.
Yeah, whatever it says.
Yeah.
So you can't do it twice.
Right.
So I'm not worried about it because there's no caprice in there. I'm like, it'll be okay. Like you can have like, what's the worst thing that can come out of archives? Because you cannot let the first subroutine, if you want to access R&D, you cannot let the first subroutine fire, especially on no clicks. It's just like, okay, here's the agenda you want to see. Now you'll never see it.
All right, so we're letting it fire. Oh, and he grabbed the ash and put it in there.
And he gains a credit, which also that I didn't realize. A credit gain is enough to make me lose the ash trace as well.
So it turns out those a breaker bay.
Yeah, like I'm so bad at life. Like I lost twice here. I lost because he gets a free ash, so I can't break it. I would have lost anyway from the free install because then it gives him one extra credit.
Oh,
I didn't even think about that till watching the video now. I don't think we even talked about that before.
So
this is like the worst awkward situation ever. Like it's so bad. And then like again, I can't try to break or bay because I'm like, what if I wanted to run again?
Oh, and then there's a Vitruvius
So
right off the top.
He tops Vitruvius.
And just immediately jams it. So that's got to feel terrible.
Yeah, especially like when you see him go jam it in, you're like, oh, God. So I'm thinking, like, can I do here? Like, is it possible to run this server? And it's not, because if I had the clone chip, it'd be easier. There's, like, a money situation.
Yeah, I guess the one bonus of that ash was that it kind of made Pacer pretty broke. I mean, he's always all the way down to 6, which is enough for him to win with that Vitruvius.
That's the poorest I've been all game.
Yeah.
6 credits.
So ash is gone. Can you afford to get back into R&D?
No way. Yeah. The Elis are like the biggest obstacle ever.
Sure.
And so
it's at this point, what are your outs? I mean, can you get
my out is to run the remote now. That's the only way I have any option of like getting in anywhere. And like if you count, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of stealth out there, and I have 5 pieces of stealth. Right, I have 2 Ghost Runners, 2 Cloaks, and a Lockpick. And a Lockpick is relevant for the server.
You used Ghost Runners. You used 1 Ghost Runner to pump and 1 Ghost Runner to break one of the Architects. You only have 1 Ghost Runner.
Oh, there's only 1 Ghost Runner?
Yeah, so you have to play a stealth credit.
Right, and you do have both Silencer and
I have a
Cloak
Cloak as well.
hand.
Okay, so I can get in this server. Okay, yeah, so I can do either Cloak or Silencer and get in. So that's a plus. So the server's possible. Yeah, now I remember what happens.
How much money do you have? You have about 8.
It's 8 exactly. 8 and then 1 other Ghost Runner.
But here's the other thing, though, is that you've only seen the existence of 1 ash. It's just the one that he recurred there.
Yeah,
and
so
there's only 1 ash in the archives.
And there's 2 things in that server.
Right.
It could be a Caprice. I probably can't even play a side game if I get all the way there.
Or it could be the other ash.
So yeah, so I've basically 9 credits, but that credit can't be used to really break subroutines, right? And there's 1, 2. Like a lot of the subroutines I can let fire. Vikram can fire a couple times.
Right.
Right.
You can take
I take some break damage.
You have to draw cards first.
How many cards do we have? 3?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, because I'm going to use 2 of my cards.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 1. Okay, so let's say with Ichi you let the 1 subroutine fire. So that's 2 credits, 1 credit for Vikram, 1 credit for. That's the ideal situation. So 2, 3. So yeah, I have enough credits to break the server because Turing only has 1 subroutine. So you have the credits. We could get it there, but then also we have a bad time. Because if it's an agenda, you just lose.
And I think we're just doing the math right now to make sure that the R&D isn't possible. So with your 8, again, going over it again, it would be stealth plus 2 for Ichi, or 3 maybe, and then 2 real credits for Architect, 2 real credits for another Architect, at least 2 more credits for Ichi, and then 2 clicks and 4 credits. Yeah, it's just not happening to get into R&D here, even if you had I mean, you have no money on Katie. You don't have any sure gambles or anything in hand. Our R&D looks pretty locked out at this point.
Yeah.
I feel pretty confident here. Like, the only weak thing is HQ.
Right. And there's nothing in there. I think there's that biotic that's been there forever in an Archive Memories.
Yes.
So yeah, you have nothing really to worry about in terms of HQ.
You can trash that Breaker Bay now.
Yeah, that's true. You could trash Breaker Bay. You could run Jackson.
I need a splash account siphon. It's so good right now.
Well, so I'm gonna actually move this forward just a little bit, just so that we can get to what happens. Because we spent a long time thinking.
Yeah,
about
there's
this.
like a good 10
Yeah.
minutes. I think about like, is there anything I could do?
Right. So bear with me here while I fast forward, and we're going to jump forward because I do believe you decide to run this remote. So let's jump to that moment.
Yeah. I never even checked to see if you did your math right. I just assumed you did it. I guess now I'll take a second look at it. So you play the cloak. So that gives you your 5 pieces of stealth to get through there.
True.
Right.
And if I don't res anything, it costs you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 credits at least.
Yeah. So I have the credits to get in. Just barely.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to break some of the brain damage.
Yeah, no, so I'll
7,
take brain damage on the way.
You can take 2 brain damage.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll
so
take
you do
2
have
on
enough.
And so then forces Pacer to res, which is crazy good. But now I can't get in.
There's 2 choices I have here. Either res the Victor 1.0 right there, and this is 2.0, and this is where I messed up.
Yeah, you should res the later piece of ice.
It's a Turing.
Right.
And I was like, this, but yeah, I should have.
But that forces me to go through 2 pieces, get poorer,
Yeah, I totally
and then have to jack out. Here I can just go in for free because I can pump with the cloaks, use the lockpick, just break and not lose any money.
Mm-hmm.
There's the account siphon, but I don't gain anything back.
And this is the problem. I drew another agenda.
Yes.
So I res the Victor, which brings me down to 1 credit. And
So you can't score out. But so ideally, what would you want to do if you weren't drawing an agenda here?
If I wasn't drawing an agenda there, what I'd like to do is archive memories back the Ash, put it on R&D, and gain a credit. That gives me up to 3 credits.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's completely locked out at that time. But if I do that, he has nowhere else to run except HQ. Like, he can either just assume nothing's in there, but knowing him, he's that's the only thing he can do. So he'll run HQ, and he'll probably run it 2 or 3 times at least, if not all 4 times.
That's the only place that I can run. I would probably just jam it. I remember, like, sometimes you lose the game as a corp because you force the runner to go where you're weakest by, like, making everything so strong, right? RD becomes impossible. The remote became impossible. They might, even if you have 1 agenda in hand, they might just run HQ a couple times.
I could draw back up with Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
but I know that if I draw with Jackson, he's going to run HQ because now HQ is kind of juicy. It's live.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I can
Also,
play it on Breaker Bay and bluff it as an asset, which is kind of a bad call. I don't want it in my hand.
Also, if you don't gain, you also want to go to 3 credits because then
Yeah.
you can score. So
Yeah.
if you Jackson draw click 1 and you just add agendas to your hand, that's bad. And then that'll force you to Jackson draw again, and now you can't score.
Right.
And I might find a way to get in the server.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you play an HQI. Like, that server is free for you to go through. You can do it twice without spending any money. So you can play an HQI and just run there twice. So I definitely don't want Jackson. And I feel like my only out here really is to overinstall the other agenda I have there.
I mean, it makes sense.
No, this ends up becoming a good play because the way the R&D density becomes, and like here's a lot of math. Pacer's thinking about the possibilities of the server because how much stealth is out there now? 6, right?
You've got lock.
No, but I have the silencer in hand. He doesn't know that.
silencer in hand. True.
So if he doesn't do anything about the remote, I can get in the remote because I go silencer, run the remote,
mm-hmm.
and I can do it. Take a bunch of brain on the way, get trashed, but I can get in the server.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not likely to do it because I'm convinced there's a Caprice in there because I don't think he'd put the game online for this. But sometimes as the corp you have to. Like I get tricked all the time by ETF and it's not an Ash, it's not a Caprice. Like I got tricked for R&D. I guess.
I put the game online for a Breaker Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so awkward. Whether you see it, you're like, God, what was it? It's just like Sometimes I remember one time in regionals, the server was just, I didn't run it for like years, and I could easily break the server. I just thought there might be a Caprice and
I
Ash
think
in
I
there.
just gained 2 more credits here just in case I have to res the Turing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember watching this and thinking that was a really good play, just to over-install the Vitruvius to get it out of hand and put the other Vitruvius in archives, because you've got the Jackson, so the Vitruvius is safe in there. And then, just gain a couple credits, and hopefully you set up the win next turn. But but Ahmed does have 4 clicks to win this game.
I'm glad I didn't flip it over, because then the force of the run there, I'm like, there's this one card. It was this card that was in the server. I'm like, what is going on?
Because you were really confused. You were like, I thought that was an agenda. Because when Pacer top decked it, you laughed and said it was an agenda. So then he overwrites it.
Yeah, it's like the biggest
games.
mind game. Yeah, it's worse than like playing Jinteki. I've been probably tricked more than a Jinteki player.
Man, there's just so many options here.
We're both probably mentally exhausted at this point.
Because you guys have played a few games before this already.
Yeah, we played a few games. It was pretty late in the night as well. But I think this game is really interesting. There's a lot of good choices.
Yeah. So, with the assumption that there's Caprice in that server or Ash, then your choice basically is just to hit R&D, knowing that, assuming that you can break everything this time and not let that Architect fire again.
Yeah, and also I've gained some stealth, so it's probably possible. We have 8. You take Katie,
and you have to run.
You just run and double click the Eli again.
Right. So instead of Silencer, just take Katie and run and double click.
MWL just wrecked barriers for Shaper players. No more lady.
All right, here it is. So we've got a
Pump.
pump.
Break, take the tag. Right? No, we're doing the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, he's asking me. I was like, yeah, obviously I'm taking a tag and a brain.
Mhm.
I'm not.
Take a tag and a brain, sure.
I'm like,
I don't
Because
need 4
you need
credits.
3. That's all you need.
oh, no, the SMC. It was just so relevant.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have to pump, pay 2 credits. So that's why we tap close.
Click.
Here we throw away 4.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get. We're using the click trackers. So you watch that.
Yeah.
I use those. Then we pump again. Break. Take a brain.
Oh, actually, so he can't pump the trace now. So your Kate Link is going to cover it.
Burn the last Ghost Runner. Pay 2 credits. Oh, we got access with 0.
Access was 0. And so now you're at 0. You're at 0 clicks, meaning that
0
if
clicks,
you
0
don't
credits.
win here,
nothing.
Pacer's going to win. So he's safe to pop Jackson and not put that Vitruvius.
Yeah, this is
back.
hilarious. Like, he shows me there's a Vitruvius here. Like, the agenda density is horrible now.
Right. I think there's exactly 1 agenda.
Yeah,
because
because before there were 7 cards that I asked him. So I was hoping there'd be 2 agendas within 7 cards, right? But now there's 1 agenda in 10 cards.
Right. So before you're going to access 4 cards.
And he's going to show what there was, non-agenda.
So if you would have gotten in, you actually wouldn't have.
If he didn't pop Jackson, yeah.
But now he's going to shuffle. So before you were going to see 4 out of 7. Now you're going to see 4 out of 10.
Some people never look. I always look. I want to know what, like, you know the right play is pop Jackson. Like, it is automatically the right play. You're adding 3 non-agenda cards. And, like, I'm making some hand gestures. I want to cut the deck. He doesn't let me cut the deck. Judge. But it's okay, though.
And there it is.
The food came out, so I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
Oh, man. So with that 3rd access.
It's a CVS. See, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's a CVS. The Caprice is right there. I can see it.
Wow.
And there's the other Ash and the rest of R&D.
Yeah. So if
he's like, you do 2 days in a row, that put him in a conundrum. If he didn't top an agenda, he would have done what he said, like, archives back the Ash, put the Ash there, and just locked out.
Yeah. Wow. So with that global food steal, Ahmed takes the game in a really, really tight game between the 2 of you. That was really intense. Thanks so much for playing, guys. I really appreciated watching this game.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting us. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
so we're gonna jump back over to the table and just talk about this game and some things you learned, some things you might want to change. So let's hop over there now. All right, we are back. Ahmed, Pacer, thanks so much once again for playing that. That was really entertaining, and I appreciate you guys giving the commentary on it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot
It was a
of
great
fun.
game.
It was exhausting.
It was an exhausting game, but
Heavy math at the end.
it was good. You guys had a lot of really good insights, and I think I really appreciate that. So looking back on that game, what were some things that you would learn? Like Ahmed, what was something you learned from that game?
I learned a couple things. One is to be sometimes willing to run, down a server and maybe them not having it, right? Not having the Caprice or Ash. But I think the more important thing is trashing Jackson, right? Not letting him fire that ABT, just taking that extra time to check the remote again, trash that Jackson. Not giving up on trashing assets, I think, is a good thing. I'd probably add Notoriety back into my deck after this play. I actually did after this because I didn't run it for one of my store championships, so I was just playing that deck again. I think Notoriety is a really good closer for a lot of games. You get to 6 points, you just run everything.
Yeah.
Notoriety for the win. So it could have been a good out after running R&D that time I got to 6. So that, I think, would be what I would change to my deck. I think everything else is pretty good in it. Pretty happy with the way it performs overall.
Great. And how about you, Pacer? Looking back on that, what are you thinking about that game?
It's heartbreaking watching all the mistakes you make. When you rewatch a game like that last res, I keep thinking about it. If I don't res the Victor and res the Turing instead, it's a lot better. Right. But as far as what changes I'd make, I want to add a third Ash back in. I just don't know what to cut for it, and I've been really, really liking the 2 biotics. I feel like the proper thing is to cut 1 biotic for a third Ash, but I don't want to do that. And the other thing, I'm playing 2 Enigmas now, and I don't like that. I don't know why. I feel like there should be something better, but it needs to cost 3 or cheaper. It needs to end the run, and so really Enigma is probably about the best since I'm playing 3 Elis already.
Sure. So. All right. Well, Ahmed, Pacer, thank you so much for coming on. It was a real treat to see that game. You guys are always entertaining players to watch, and I feel like every time I watch you guys play, I learn something. So I really appreciate you guys coming on and playing.
Every time I watch, I learn something too.
Watching your games over is a great way to learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're gonna trash Eve 2 times, you might as well trash it a third.
There you go.
No, really, it is. I had the money. I shouldn't have given up on that. So it's a good lesson to learn.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of The Art of Running. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you learned something as well. Until next time, this is Ben from PeachHack, logging off.